Never suppress emotions, master them instead. I would never tell someone to suppress their emotions. We all react, that's part of being human. The real question isn't whether you react, it's how long you choose to stay in that reaction. Look at a child. A child gets upset, cries, feels frustrated, and then, within minutes, moves on and returns to playing. That's one of the greatest lessons in emotional intelligence, learning how to shorten the lifespan of negative emotions. When an experience triggers an emotion and you don't regulate it, that emotional reaction can last for hours or even days. At that point, it becomes a mood. If the same emotional state continues for weeks or months, it develops into a temperament. And when it stays with you for years, it becomes part of your personality. Most personality traits are simply emotional patterns that have been repeated long enough to become who we think we are. Every person has a story, and emotions are what make memories powerful. When something deeply painful or traumatic happens, the brain records that moment with extraordinary detail. The stronger the emotional impact, the stronger the memory becomes. Over time, people begin to think through the lens of that experience and feel within the boundaries of those emotions. Each time they replay the event in their mind, their brain and body produce the same chemical response as if it were happening all over again. Eventually, the body starts reliving the past every day. The trauma is no longer just a memory in the mind, it becomes an emotional program stored in the body. That's why some people remain angry, bitter, or hurt for years. They're not reacting to what's happening now, they're reacting to a story they've been emotionally rehearsing for a very long time. Your future changes the moment you stop reliving the past and start creating a new emotional reality. Why are you still unhappy? Someone may ask. And the answer is often because of something that happened to me years ago. What they're really saying is that experience changed me, and I've never truly changed since. The interesting thing is that memory isn't a perfect recording. Research shows that every time we revisit a memory, we slightly rewrite it. Over time, parts of the story become exaggerated, distorted, or emotionally amplified. Yet we keep telling ourselves the same story until it becomes our identity. In many cases, people aren't suffering from the actual event anymore, they're suffering from the story they've repeatedly told themselves about the event. The thoughts we repeatedly think become beliefs, and every belief strengthens a network of neurons in the brain. The more those neural pathways are used, the stronger and more automatic they become. Eventually, those thoughts operate on autopilot, shaping our lives without our awareness. Real transformation begins when we become aware of those unconscious patterns. Just because a thought appears in your mind doesn't mean it's true. If you automatically accept every negative thought, it influences your decisions. Those decisions shape your actions. Your actions create experiences. Those experiences generate emotions. And those emotions reinforce the very thoughts that started the cycle. Soon, your mind, body, emotions, habits, and even your biology begin repeating the same reality day after day. That's why change often feels uncomfortable. The moment you challenge an old belief, you're interrupting a familiar pattern. The body, which has become addicted to certain emotional states, begins demanding the same feelings again. A person who constantly feels unworthy starts producing thoughts that match that feeling. Those thoughts create more feelings of inadequacy, which then generate even more negative thoughts. It's a loop. But the moment you become conscious of that pattern and refuse to feed it, something powerful happens. You begin taking your power back. The emotions you've been carrying, anger, resentment, guilt, fear, self doubt, are often nothing more than emotional records of the past. The stronger your emotional attachment to a past experience, the more attention you give it. And wherever attention goes, energy flows. So if your attention remains trapped in a past event, a difficult circumstance, or another person, your energy remains trapped there too. Healing begins when you withdraw that energy and bring it back to yourself. Sit quietly. Disconnect from the noise around you. Forget the past. Forget the future. Enter the present moment. Then ask yourself, what is the greatest version of me that I can be today? Identify the thoughts that no longer serve you. Notice the behaviors you want to change. Become aware of the emotions you've been living by for years. Catch them the moment they appear. Then consciously choose new thoughts, choose new actions, choose new emotions, practice gratitude, practice kindness, practice appreciation, generate those feelings from within until they become familiar. Do it so often that you can create those emotions with your eyes closed and eventually with your eyes open while living your daily life. At the end of the day, evaluate yourself. Where did you fall back into old patterns? Where did you lose awareness? Learn from it. Then wake up the next morning and begin again. A new day, a new opportunity, a new version of yourself. Because transformation isn't created by a single breakthrough, it's created through repetition. The discomfort you feel during change is not a sign to stop, it's proof that you're leaving the old self behind. Most people quit when they encounter resistance, but growth exists on the other side of I can't, on the other side of fear, on the other side of doubt, on the other side of discomfort. That's where the unknown begins, and that's where real change happens. After every struggle comes a breakthrough. When people stay committed through the difficult moments, something remarkable happens. They begin to connect. That's the moment when everything finally clicks. They say, now I understand. Now it makes sense. It's like learning a new skill. In the beginning, it feels awkward, frustrating, and exhausting. You fall, you make mistakes, and you wonder if you'll ever get it right. But then one day, everything comes together, and you think, why did this seem so difficult before? That's what transformation feels like. First comes awareness, then comes connection, and after connection comes transformation. A transformation is not just a change in thinking, it's a change in who you are. It's a change in your biology, your habits, your emotions, and your entire way of living. We've seen people overcome challenges they once believed would stay with them forever. We've watched lives change because people finally learned how to change themselves. Most chronic problems in life don't disappear because we wish them away. They disappear when we become a different person than the one who created them. That's why meditation isn't really about healing. Meditation is about learning how to change. And when you truly change, healing becomes a natural consequence. Many people say, I've been meditating. Why hasn't my life changed yet? The answer is simple. Your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions create your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. If you want a new reality, you must become a new personality. The challenge is that most of who we are operates automatically. Our beliefs, habits, reactions, emotional patterns, and subconscious programs have been running for years without us even noticing. That's why the first step toward becoming someone new is letting go of who you've been. The process of becoming is really a process of unlearning. Unlearning old habits, unlearning old beliefs, unlearning old emotional addictions. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but growth has never existed inside comfort. The people who transform are not the people who avoid discomfort. They're the people who stay committed when discomfort appears. Commitment is the bridge between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. When you choose commitment over excuses, growth over comfort, and possibility over fear, transformation becomes inevitable. And one day you'll look back at the person you used to be and realize that the struggle wasn't there to stop you. It was there to introduce you to a greater version of yourself. That is the moment everything changes. That is transformation.